they begin, it brings back the sound of music so tender. It brings back a night of tropical splendor. It brings back a memory evergreen. I'm with you once more under the stars, and down by the shore an orchestra's playing, and even the palms seem to be swaying when they begin the beginning. To live it again is past all endeavor, except when that tune clutches my heart, and there we are swearing to love forever and promising never, never to part. What moments divine, what rapture serene, till clouds came along to disperse the joys we had tasted. And now when I hear people curse the chance that was wasted, I know but too well what they mean. So don't let them begin the begin. Let the love that was once a fire remain an ember. Let it sleep like the dead desire I only remember. When they begin the begin. Oh yes, let them begin the begin. Make them play till the stars that were there before return above you, till you whisper to me once more, darling, I love you. And we suddenly know what heaven we're in when they begin the begin.
Thank you, thank you. The yellow line.
Till you whisper to me once more, darling, I love you. And we suddenly know what heaven we're in when they begin the begin. When they begin
The Breakers, Vanderbilt Mansion.
So
Let's wait for Stella. She went inside.
All right. Do you have your tickets? No. Everyone that's in our group. Everybody.
Yes, okay.
Go over to
Stay over here so the other day. Wait. I think she. Yes.
Justement, nous, alors on est en haut parce qu'on peut même pas. Ah, mais là, il y a un machin, c'est quoi ça là-bas? C'est un.
Ticket kasi hindi na magpapa-refund tayo. Yeah, tama.
Alright. So, Princess Cruises, number 9, stay with me.
Sana makita natin ulit.
But yeah, it's an audio tour. Yes, it is. And if you have any questions, you can come back out and ask me. I'm a tour guide here as well.
What's your name?
Lois.
Lois?
Lois, yeah.
Very nice.
Oh, thank you. So as soon as you get your ticket, you go on it.
Right inside gate, then incoming guest. Okay, we are rolling. Okay. Nice enough. Okay. Oop. look here, just a glance. Just a glance.
They try to tell us we're too young, too young to really be in love. They say, but love's a word we've only heard, but can't begin to know the meaning of. And yet we're not too young to know this love will last though years may go. And then someday they may recall we were not too young at all. And yet we're not too young to know this love will last though years may go. And then someday they may recall we were not too young at all.
Drop that long face, come on, have your fling. Why keep nursing the blues? If you want this old world on a string, put on your dancing shoes, stop wasting time. Put on your dancing shoes, watch your spirits climb. Shall we dance or keep on moping? Shall we dance and walk on earth? Shall we give in shall we dance with never a care? Life is short, we're growing older. Don't you be and also run. You'd better dance, little lady, dance, little man. Dance whenever you can. We're growing older, don't you be, and also run. You'd better dance, little lady, dance, little man, dance whenever you can. Whenever you can. The moon deserts the sky, till all the seas run dry. Till then I'll worship you,
The two people who are largely responsible for all the tourism on this island are Cole and Frederick Church. They discovered this area. It's awesome. Look at the difference in the trees here. These are no longer the hardwoods that I was telling you about. They're the white pines and spruce and so on that they just love to use for shipbuilding. And that's because we have the spruce forest here. That's because the fire I was telling you about blew out when building the road here. They want everybody to have a good view, so they have an upper level and a lower level, so everybody can see. The lobster boats are going further and further out. And so if you look far off to the east, you're going to see Spain. Anybody see it?
Like
only
Pellet,
3,200 miles away.
Like Sarah Pellet, huh?
3,200 miles away. Yeah, that's beautiful. Samuel Champlain ran his ship aground there. Boy, look, it's just awesome today. Wicked
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, and yesterday it was cold, so today, beautiful scene. I want you to keep this in your mind because I'm going to show you a picture that one of these artists. To the right is Cadillac Mountain. We're going to go up there, the tallest mountain. We're going to go up there, and this is called Otter Cove. Look at that crystal clear water. It's just beautiful. But this is a scene where the painters have come. But this is also the cove where Samuel Champlain in 1604 brought his boat over here and repaired it. You can see it's just really nice. Must have fell out on the top of the tail. And if it was larger than, the more eggs they're going to produce. And only about 1 in 10,000 survives. About about making sure that they leave their breeder. They have today is a soft shell lobster, and the reason it's called a soft shell is because a lobster will shed its skin probably 25 times before it's grown up. Male lobster comes by and takes care of things, and then she puts on a new shell, grows a new shell, and when she comes out of the cave, she's called a soft the leaf and the shell. So they shed many times. They hold their eggs inside for 11 months, and then they put them on their bellies, on their undersides, for another 11 months until they finally dispense with them out in the water. There's another cottage over there. Any of you know the story Law and Order? Law and Order. Anyway, the director of that movie, his name is Mr. Wolf, has that cottage. His father was the CEO of Standard Oil. And John D. Rockefeller started building roads when he was a teenager. And he loved building roads. It's kind of like a hobby. Like some people like to play music, some people have to write. He had to build roads. It was his favorite thing to do. And so they came up here from New York in 1908, John D. Rockefeller Jr. And Nelson was born here in Bar Harbor, not too far from where your ship is moored. And they fell in love with this island like the rest of the folks and the rest of the summer people. So they built a house up in Seal Harbor, which is, we're going to go up in that area, called the Erie. And they had 5 children, and they used to come up here every summer and just loved it. They loved to go horseback riding. At that time, in the early 1900s, there were lots of Indian trails that they just followed. The Indians knew exactly where to put a trail. And the summer people said, oh no, this is before this became a park, so they could build roads any place they wanted to. And John D. Rockefeller was, and some of the summer people were afraid their peace and quiet and the beauty of this island was going to be too disrupted by these roads. Look at how these stones are put together. Do you see any cement between those? No, they're designed by Italian masons that were hired by John D. Rockefeller. They're placed in such a way that they hang together. No, some of the rest walls do have cement, but some of them do not. But anyway, so John D. Rockefeller went to the Village Improvement Society and also probably the State Road Commission and said, do you mind if I design the roads on this island? Because now cars are allowed and we may as well go with the flow here. And so they said, and he said, how about if I build them and pay for them as well? Oh, sure, that sounds like a great idea. So he spent 25 years from 1915 until 1940 building roads. He employed 100 people for 25 years, probably couple generations, and built the roads the way he thought they should be built, that blended in with the environment. You don't see any steel guardrails along our park roads. All of the accoutrements, isn't that a great word? Of the roads are materials that are come building, and from there you can also either go to a gift shop or down to the water. So you have, it's probably best if you go out around to the left by the gift shop restrooms and then.
Punta tayo dun sa gift shop.
May time tayo.
Yeah.
Pakita yung scarf. Scarf, hindi pala kayo po. Red yung isa, orange yung isa. Okay.
Hello.
So yan, nakunan kita. Yan, nakunan kita.
Baka
Ang
mapagod ka.
ganda. Hindi. Ayan, reglado. Ang ganda. Alright, good. Oh, ganda, parang Canada. Oh,
Sige na,
ayan oh.
Ayun.
Oh, ayan oh. Tunay oh. Oh, ang ganda.
Rock and ropes they hang there.
Which one is the rock?
Yep. It's a bubble rock.
Where's the hanging rock?
The one on top.
Yep, there are people up there. There it is, right there on top. And then see any people up there?
Look at the truck. I think it's gonna. It can go.
Well, no, there's a trail that goes up a gentler side. Although there are people that do rope climbing up here. That's what I'm saying. But it's a beautiful spot up there. You get views of both the Eagle Lake and Jordan Pond. It's just a gorgeous. So he helped to found Detroit, and consequently the car is named after him. So he had an impact on Detroit. Roads, we have thousands of them. The countryside, the color, the dark spruce and the hardwoods interspersed. This is a great place to talk about the effect. There was a glacier that was here that was a mile high, if you can imagine. This Wisconsin glacier was at least a mile high. And when she started to recede, can you imagine the pressure and the sculpturing ability she had? And she's the one who sculpted out these valleys, left these glacial lakes. That's why they're spring fed nowadays, but they're started out as melted glacial ice. Sure. I wasn't here 12,000 years ago. Anybody here?
Yeah.
No, I guess not. Here's a little waterfall to your right, a little drainage. But geologists more or less verify that that's what happened. There's a little boat on the bottom of that lake called the Wawanat. A little paddle wheeler that went through, that they sunk in 1900 at the end of a cog railroad that came up here in 1893. Some entrepreneur thought it'd be great fun to have a cog railroad come up here. That only lasted for 7 years. But they didn't know what to do with the boat, so they sunk it. This is a subarctic tundra terrain that we're coming to the. You notice the bushes are getting shorter and shorter. Yep, there are people that we often pick blueberries because there are a lot of blueberries up here. They pick blueberries and get back on the bus. It went so slow. It was about a 2.5-hour trip up here, which takes us about 15 minutes, if that. Those are the Cranberry Islands out in front of us. Those are inhabited. We have about 2,000. Cranberry, which is the second one from the left. It's a K-8 school, and when they graduate from 8th grade, then they go to high school either in Bar Harbor. We have a high school on the island, or they go to Ellsworth, which is this is a centerpiece of the island. You can see why I say that. And what you can find up here is a little visitor center.
I may not always love you, as long as there are stars above you. You never need to doubt it. I'll make you so sure about it. God only knows what I'd be without you. life would still go on. Believe me, the world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do me? God only knows.
So that's our seat. Huh?
Looks like.
The princess.
God only knows what I'd be without you. If you should ever leave me, well, life would still go on, believe me. The world could show nothing to me. So what good would living do me? God only knows what I'd be without you.
And don't forget the ship. Us, it's okay.
God only knows what I'd be without you. 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 God only knows what I'd be. God only knows what I'd be without you.
Thank you. Yeah. Your turn.
God only knows what I'd be.
Kailangan talaga madali yan.
Ready. Okay, isa pa. Thank you.
Give me a kiss to build a dream on. In my imagination, we'll thrive upon that kiss. Sweet.
You want me to get your picture?
Yeah.
No more.
Okay.
Yeah, beautiful. It's better here. I was
Oh yeah, this is
shouting in the
really.
recording.
You're on. Okay, let me get you. Also.
This is this live, huh?
Okay, pretty.
Yeah, you look here. Of course. You look here. Here.
In my
Look here.
Are you on?
You put your hand. Yeah, it's on already. It's on. REC record.
Okay.
Huh? Oh, you press that.
What's recording?
Kiss to
Yeah, you're on.
No,
Let me get
no,
you.
no. This letters that came from.
Oh, I don't know where
The
the
letter came from. Was the
Want me to turn it off?
with my
Turn it off. Now
friends.
you're
yeah,
on.
it's our. So now, yeah. It's better here. Oh, yeah.
Be with you.
You see that?
Yeah, there he is.
Big romances. Big
Hey there, Jesus. Yeah, okay, now I'll show the boat behind it.
your lips
I can zoom it in on the boat now. I zoomed it
my
in.
imagination.
Yeah, you can really
Make that
see.
moment vivid.
And
Give me what you alone can give. A kiss to
you can get this beautiful. It's not,
Okay. Hello. Kumusta kayo? Yeah.
Granite. Don't fall off the edge.
Yeah.
You can see the dark trees and the light trees. That's where the path of the fire. I keep saying that. It's just so pronounced today. But anyway, old Ted, bless his heart. He's last time I saw him, he was headed out for heart surgery down in Boston that week. We have to check on him, see how he's doing. He's well into his close to 80, around 80-ish. But anyway, he had a PhD from in biology, He's given papers in Europe and so on, but anyway, he was explaining to me how soil is formed, why these bushes are growing out of this rock. And this is what he said, very scientific. He said, well, the Freddy fungus took a liking to Alice algae, and now their marriage is on the rocks. Well, it's the highest point on the east coast. Now, that does not mean inland, it's on the east coast. Up from Rio de Janeiro is what they tell us. It's the highest point, 1,530 feet. And if you go up to the top of Cadillac in the morning, you will be the first person in the United States to see the sun come up, because we are out in the ocean. Local celebrities, okay. You know who she is, okay, well. Oh, we'll see her house. We'll see her house. We'll be going by her house. But anyway, she and her friends wanted to be the first people to see the sun come up. Remember 2000, everything?
That's my lobster there, right there on my plate. Okay, ang lobster sa inyo. Okay, sama kami.
Tapos yung ulo eh. Mahirap naman. Cornbread.
Yeah. Okay, I'll go back.
Yeah, we need some. We need some cornbread. Eh, mahuhuli ka na naman.
I'll tell you, this is how you do it. Where's your bowl? All right, less than how to crack a lobster. All right, now take the tip. Ayun na, hindi na
Hawakan mo lang. Ngayon, nagre-record na basta. Titingnan lang mo. Nagre-record na. Ano ba ito? Pipisilin lang yung red bat. No,
You've got some little
yeah.
trees, the red leaves, and turn it around.
And you see, look at yourself. Can you see yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Here, pretty, let me get you.
Oh.
It's very nice.
The recording. You'll just hold it on and look.
All right. We got a nice park here.
Yeah. Of course.
And you can circle around there, or you can just.
Yeah, that's the most beautiful one.
But it's really nice. There's a tiny little waterfall, sort of a handmade thing.
Oh,
and then they got all these little berries, and they're red. That isn't really a maple tree. It looks like it in the background, but it's a. See if I can do a close-up of it. It's one of these bushes that turns red when it gets cold.
And then you want to see it, you can zoom it and get the detail.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm zooming. So pretty, you like it?
Yeah.
You buy it?
It's nice. It's like a Japanese garden. You like it?
church.
You see the little Japanese garden down there? It's just right down the road to your right. Well, people
Beautiful.
probably run. I circled around it. You may not have time to circle.
Beautiful. All right. Mark, please.
I told him that you'd just be happy.
How about the bit? We are doing a good job.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. Yes.
One, two, three.
Area. People came more and more up in this area, and they turned out into quite a nice little village.
What's a rusticator again? Rusticator?
He was an opportunist. He one of the islands out there, I showed you the Cranberry Islands. Well, Abraham Soames bought one of those islands, Greenig Island, for 1 gallon of rum from the Indians. No, it was 2 gallons of rum. His partner, Ebenezer Richards, bought the other island for 1 gallon of rum, so he got a better deal. But that's what they did in those days. They do a lot of mysteries. No, not that one. It's the one up here. That's a Congregational church, I think. Okay, we'll turn up here and then we'll turn around into the fire station and come back. Pull into the fire station here. Yui. History stories. Agatha Christie in the summertime. I was one of the actors is one of our guides, and I was saying to him, I said, why? Well, and apparently some plays are easier to, some stories are easier to make plays up than others, and I guess probably, it's Mount Desert traffic. Okay, now we'll go back down Route 233 and down, all the way down to the ship. So this is the first village that was built on Mount Desert Island.
Mount Desert Island. First village.
Quite a while before, let's see, Bar Harbor was started 1796, and this was 1761.
1761.
Yeah, little library.
1796.
A lot of those little libraries have wood stoves in them, and they use them in the wintertime. It's very cozy. At the other end and wait for high tide, and then you get a nice ride coming down there. I've never done it, but Cadillac Mountain. and Soamesville, which is the first village in the built on Mount Desert Island. So that, all in all, is the grand tour. And not only that, you had a great lobster lunch. So I think we ought to give our good driver Dave a little round of applause for getting us up and down the mountain and around the park. And I know we're not quite there yet, but that's just a vote of confidence that he's going to get us home. Another three more blocks, I think we'll do it. Then he's ready to go home. We're a tight-knit group. That has been awesome. No straggling. It's just been amazing. I guess you're used to being where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. I think so. I think you are. Boy, that's awesome. That's great. Yep. This is it. This is Main Street. Main Street, America. Here we have several ice cream stores and lots of shops where you can get t-shirts. Butterfield's over here at your right has been there for over 100 years. They used to provide food for Mr. Pulitzer when he had his yacht out there, and J.P. Morgan. They've been there for 5 generations, Butterfield's has. Even in those days, it was nothing for him to bring out $5,000 worth of food and spirits, as they say. Well, Martha lives up in, she lives up in Seal Harbor, so she has another place. Yeah, she's a ways away. Yep. So anyway, thank you so much. I have thoroughly enjoyed working with you. It's been an honor, absolute honor for me to be your guide today. And I hope you come back when you get a chance to stay a little longer and get to ride on those carriage roads and walk around the pond and so on, and spend some time on the coast. So, but I hope you have a lovely evening and party on, you guys. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Ang ganda, yan oh. Ganda. Beautiful view. Takpan tayo ng bus. Beautiful.
Okay, your tenders now are going to be to the right of this building.
Ah. Naantok si Nene.
I know they probably know what the tides are going to be.
You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. When the road is rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Son, you got a friend. Yeah, you got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. You know you got a friend in me. You got troubles and I got them too. There ain't anything I wouldn't do for you. If we stick together, we can see it through. 'Cause you got a friend in me. Little daddy, you got a friend in me. Some of the folks might be a little bit smarter than I am. They're strong too. Maybe, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. It's just me and you, pal. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. And you gon' see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. And I happy know you got a friend in me. Now some of the folks might be a little bit smaller than I am, bigger and stronger too. Could be, but none of them will ever love you the way I do. It's just me and you now. And as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You gon' see it's our destiny. You got a friend in me. Better know it's me. You got a friend in me. My doctor, you got a friend in me.
So those crosses commemorate their passing. Partridge Island, there's a lot of firsts. I'll tell you about a lot of first times for St.
Together
Thomas.
forever, my brother.
The first steam foghorn in the world was located on Partridge Island. and the first lighthouse in New Brunswick was located on Partridge Island. Now today's a nice day, but if you were here last week, you would have understood the significance of the importance of a foghorn and a lighthouse, because it gets very, very foggy here from time to time. This lighting standard was a navigational beacon. It's called the Three Sisters because it has three lamps to it. The front side is red, so that when a captain came into the harbor, and again back in the 17 and 1800s, you didn't have the electronic devices that they have today, the captain could align the center lantern with the big Trinity Church steeple that's up on Germain Street next to here, and could safely navigate into the harbor. So that's the Three Sisters navigational beacon. Okay. A lot of the streets are named after British royalty, and this street is an example. This is Prince William Street. St. John in the 17 and 1800s was a very important city because it was, first of all, one of the 4 largest shipbuilding centers in the world, and a very, very important port. Prince William Street was like the Wall Street of St. John. Business was done here, major shipbuilding, major lumbering companies, stocks were bought and sold. You'll also notice that the buildings are all made of brick and stone, and that's because in 1877, down at the foot of King Street, a horse kicked over a lamp in a hay barn, and a bunch of the city burned to the ground in 9.5 hours. So it became a bylaw after that any new buildings be built in stone and rock. This building on the door side, I'll speak in terms of door side, driver side, because I'm left and right challenged. This one on the door side is St. John High School. This building was built in the 1930s. However, the institution St. John High School dates back to 1805, and that makes it the oldest publicly funded secondary school in the country. Came King William IV of England, and he was a great mariner. He sailed in the British Navy and spent a lot of time in Canada and the United States. Now we're going to look at some interesting buildings here.
In all the old familiar
on the door side,
that
we have what we call the Palatine Building. It's done in Second Empire and Italian architecture. Notice the granite pillars. There was a great quarry for granite, that red and the gray stone. That was located in St. George, which is about an hour from here. This used to be a bank, and it used to be an insurance company. Notice at the top of the pillars there are a number of gargoyles.
The
okay?
children
Because it was a fire and started around the 1850s, the chestnut tree. They probably thought, what were we thinking?
The wish.
Anyway, on the driver's side we have a bank building. It's got and that's the Bank of New Brunswick. Canada has a chartered banking system.
In every lovely summer's day.
It was later bought out by the Bank of
in everything that's like
architecture is the post office.
I'll always
right here on the driver's side.
think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, and where the night is new.
Now I told you that this was like the Wall Street.
I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you.
There are 16 in all. You cannot see all of them from the street, and some are tucked in behind on the other side. This is called Shutt's Corner. This was a very important building to commerce in New Brunswick. Stocks, mostly in ships, organs. There was also a newspaper published here. Not everybody could read in those days, so every day somebody got out and read the newspaper. Now, the mayor and the town council of the day didn't think those spaces were amusing because they thought the builders
everything that's light and gay. I'll always think of you that way. I'll find you in the morning sun, where the night is I'll be looking at the moon, but I'll be seeing you. I'll be looking at the moon,
and so was the case here. So,
but I'll be
the whole area,
seeing.
New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, kept going back and forth between the English and French, and finally the English wound up with it. However, also there were some issues between the United States and Canada. So around the time of the American Revolution, there were a great many British subjects living in the U.S. They wanted to remain loyal to the British Crown, so they left everything behind and they came back to Canada. They came